Looking for a little peace and quiet? Didn't think so.
My little chicklets, this is your deputy director here. I just wanted to let you know I think you're all so fabulous. Just a word of warning, folks. This video might enrage a certain demographic of people who might tune in because they see my eye-catching thumbnail and the caption below that. But you know what? I am speaking from personal experience here, so I'm not pulling anything out of my ass. It's all based on facts. And the warning signs back then, which I knew, if I knew what was going to happen in 2022 and even before that, I would have been a different person already. But holy shit, man. So episode 2 of She-Hulk has dropped today on Disney Plus, and haven't watched it yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. But my God, the fallout from episode 1. It is worse than a nuclear fallout, isn't it? It really is. Like, holy... When you see cringeworthy headlines endorsed by the Hollywood Reporter, She-Hulk director Kat Coiro talks about the moment she knew the series would work. And of course, the picture of Kat Coiro here, she kind of looks like She-Hulk. Just give her a coat of green paint and she could step in for the awful CGI they've used in that first episode. But what I'm going to talk about today goes back to 2012, the year of the London Olympics, the year that Skyfall would make its debut, and I enjoyed that film a lot. I'm a big James Bond fan, so I was really hyped up, really excited. And it was around July I joined a government agency, and at the time it went by a 4-letter word. And I wish I could say what that 4-letter word is, but I'd probably have the men in black knocking on my door and taking me away. But I suppose the only appropriate 4-letter word I can use is shit. And then we'll carry on. So then, of course, the next year, this agency became a 3-lettered named agency. And I was still in my job then, which was working as part of the HR crew, human resources. I had a portfolio. I dealt with maternity leave, employment references, and reward and recognition. Okay, now that's kind of a key phrase right there, because in 2013, we had a brand new female deputy director. Now, you're probably thinking at this point, red flag alerts. It's just going to be a female. She's going to be changing things. Back then, you've got to remember, it was okay to see women in power. When I say women in power, it's just good to see a female presence, which I'd already seen before anyway. I saw it in the 90s, I saw it in the early noughts. So it was nothing new, but I suppose with this particular government agency, they weren't promoting enough women in prominent positions. So, when this particular person came on board, we all welcomed her with open arms. It was pretty cool. And at this point, by the way, I was enjoying playing female protagonists in video games like Jill Valentine, and of course Lara Croft, so it was all good, I had absolutely no problem. I embraced the powerful female action figure in my entertainment, but there was a bit of there was something strange afoot at the Circle K, and what happened? Like all the female colleagues in my team, in my HR team, they were starting to get recognition because their rewards are going to come later. You see what I did there? For their hard efforts at this new project they were instigating. They were rolling in like 400 brand new people made up of graduates and apprentices. This initiative was going to start in 2013 and it's going to probably carry on for a short term after that. But while the men in the crew were just kind of keeping it cool and calm, one or two of the females became a little bit insufferable, pulling their hair out. It's all about me. And you just sat there and you kind of grinned and bared it, and then I noticed a really weird thing was happening. Like this female deputy director, she would start to recognize the efforts of what was going on with my female colleagues, totally disregarding what the male colleagues were inputting into a certain project. It was like, oh, you're a man, are you? Yeah. Go to one side, please. But, oh, if you're a girl or a woman, please step into my office. It was literally that. Anyway, push came to shove, and when it came to the rewards or the recognition part, guess what? I was the patsy, I was the sucker who sat there, perched upright on his desk, and had to type these letters to my female colleagues who were all going to get monetary rewards for their efforts, their hard-earned efforts. Oh, my little chicklets, this is your deputy director here. I just wanted to let you know I think you're all so fabulous. You do more work than the men. They're awful, aren't they? So I'm going to give you £500, you £600, you £700 because you're my favourite. You so are. But shh, don't tell all the men in the office, because if they find out, oh, they're going to take us to court. They're going to be so hurt and disgusted by the treatment we so deserve. So girlfriend, I love you so much. Bitches, see me for a drink later. Mwah, I love you. Bye. Wow. I tell you, man, you talk about a punch to the gut. This was like, this is a punch to my manhood. Everything else. I mean, it was just, I grinned and I bared it. I typed these letters up. I had to type them so carefully that even my female manager had to go through the letters to make sure, yep, everything is fine. The sums of money being awarded to each of my female colleagues were all present and correct. And that was it. And funny enough, I soon, not long after, resigned from that post. I went to another government agency, and guess what happened? I thought the grass would be greener on that side of things. Nope, I had to put up an insufferable female manager there for nearly a year, which resulted in me taking time out with work stress, comfort eating. In fact, at one point, I had to even... When I went to this place of work, they had a library there and you could go in there and work and carry on. This female manager, oh my God, it's like she was a bloodhound. She was obsessed with me for some bizarre reason. I don't know what it was. I mean, just taking one look at her, you probably know she's got man issues anyway. And she'll pursue me, ask me what I'm doing here, even though you're allowed to work in that workspace, because the actual workspace I could have worked in was always occupied with people anyway. But yeah, this person's micromanaging inabilities to even get a grip of the situation drove me insane. It drove me to depression. It made me comfort eat, made me lose self-esteem. And eventually they had to move her on. Even though I came back, I stayed for a short time and then went on my merry way and found something else better in the end. Well, better for the time being. So when I talk about insufferable females in television, in comics, in video games, maybe come back to this video and maybe understand why I have a low intolerance of them. And then of course, if you go back to episode 1 of She-Hulk last week, and everybody is just raining in on that god-awful clip where Jennifer Walters is sat there looking at Bruce and talking about being catcalled and taking advice from men less qualified from her. I know she's meant to be a narcissist in that moment. I know she's meant to be a complete a-hole, and that's the way she's written. But not every woman can be like that in real life. Oh, surely not, right? And then you get to that bathroom scene as well, where one of the women, one of the bar dwellers, one of the patrons, when they walk into the bathroom and they see Jennifer is doing herself up after that car crash with Bruce, and they said, "Oh, who did this to you? What did this to you? Was it a he or the pronoun brigade?" I mean, real life, folks, nobody would ever ask you that question. If you're in a road accident, you wouldn't say, "By the way, did you catch their pronouns?" Because that just does not happen. So it's really great that She-Hulk is the most hated thing on Disney Plus right now. Even bringing in people like Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock is not going to do this series any good. He'll probably end up being shoved aside because he's not the best lawyer there is. It's going to be Jennifer Walters. She's going to be loud and proud, and it's just dreadful. And by the way, what a double standard, right? Because remember in Avengers, the first Avengers film, when we saw a topless Mark Ruffalo and they make the joke about him with the purple pants. How come when Tatiana Maslany hulks out that, well, we just see her in a uniform afterwards? We don't see the remnants of Savage She-Hulk, where she still had bits of her clothes hanging off her, and like you can see her in her true glory. So folks, if you enjoyed this more candid video from yours truly today, make sure you give it a like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if I were you, I would check me out on my next video.
Oh, feeling sad? Then get your happy pill. Watch Jason King. Hail to the king, baby.